Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 286 of the Nope Coach podcast, Lessons Learned from a Second Degree Burn. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. Before we dive into today's topic, I just want to front end this by saying this is not intended as advice or medical or recommendations or anything of that nature. This is just me sharing my personal experience. If you've come across this and you have a burn, please seek your own independent official medical attention. Yeah, I just wanted to say that before we dove in. So 9 days ago, I went for my morning walk, which I do every morning. Sat down when I got home, well, made a cup of tea, sat down. I don't have milk in my tea, so I'd freshly boiled the jug, 100 degrees Celsius, poured it into the cup, sat down, crossed my left ankle over my right knee, and somehow managed to drop the cup of tea directly into my lap. So like it went all down my left calf and in behind my left knee, like I dropped it into my lap, and that's how I was sitting. Entire cup of tea, freshly boiled. It burned and it hurt. And to my kids' credit, I've always joked that my children could sleep through a marching band. And I screamed incredibly loudly, and neither of them stirred. So I still stand by this. My kids could sleep through a marching band. And so I did all the official first aid things, got straight in the shower in, tepid water, not cool, but not, because it splashed, like it hit, the majority of it hit behind my left knee. I also got a bit onto my one of my palms and then my other foot. So if you've ever had a burn like that, everything is burning. So trying to keep it all under the shower to cool it was challenging to say the least. Fortunately, that day, my husband hadn't left for the office yet. So he called in sick to work. I was like, I'll be fine. He's like, no, you won't be. Thank goodness for somebody with a level head in times of, emergent. Because I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just have this shower and I'll be right. I was not right. So, he was able to take that day, work from home, and run the kids to school and help me on the initial part of the burn. And I've never had a burn like that before. So I had no idea what I was in for. I thought I would be heaps better. He ended up having to go away for work interstate, so left me with the kids. I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It was not fine. Fortunately, I had pre-recorded a few episodes of this show, so I had some episodes that were going live. I had to cancel all of my clients. If you're listening to this, shout out to you. Thank you so much for your understanding and your patience. When we are level-headed, like cool, calm, collected, we get that people will be understanding. Emergencies happen, unexpected things happen. People get it. They want you to look after yourself. But when you're caught up or swept up in it, like I was convinced everybody was going to hate me and everyone was going to cancel me, and like I was the worst person in the world for not delivering on this service. Um, the pain was incredible. I am allergic to almost everything, all the good drugs, so to speak. So the only thing I can have is like paracetamol and ibuprofen, which, didn't do much for that level of pain, but, better than nothing. Um, and the blisters. And what I didn't know, as someone who hasn't had a second degree burn before, is how they just kept popping up each day, fresh ones. Like if this is too gross for you to listen to, adios. See you on the next one. But today, day 9, is the first day that there hasn't been fresh blisters appearing. Like, and this is a big area of skin. Like I'm talking bigger than my palm. So lots of lessons learned from second degree burn. Firstly, that song, You Don't Know What You've Got Till It's Gone, pave paradise and put up a parking lot. I, for those of you who listen to the show for a while, you know that I walk every day. It's my penny walk. I've done a whole episode on pennies. If you scroll back to, I think it's even in the 20s, that episode, and we're at 286 now. But almost every day, I don't want to walk. I moan, I bitch, I complain, but I get my ass out the door. But now, like I literally just got back from a walk when this happened and made a cup of tea. I hear the birds in the morning and I ache to be outside. It's only been 9 days and I've been laid up because of where I'm burnt. And it's like, yeah, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. I don't realize how much I missed being active until I was forced on bed rest. So, there's that. Second lesson, everything is movable, cancelable, figure outable, logistics wise. Like, I literally, this happened to me at like 6:15 in the morning. I had a client for 7 a.m., so 45 minutes later, who I was going to reschedule. I sent her a message to reschedule for this week. Thankfully, she was busy. So we've actually rescheduled for next week because had it been this week, I would have needed to push it back again. Like, the second lesson, don't underestimate how long the recovery is going to be. Like, I just thought, oh, I'll be right in a couple of days. Still not right. Third lesson, how much rest, sleep that you're going to need. So as I said, Jeremy ended up going away interstate, so it's just me and the kids. I get them up, help them get ready for school. Like they made their own breakfasts and stuff. It's amazing too how self-sufficient my kids can be when they need to be. But drop them off at school, have a nap, pick them up from school, have a nap. Like it was incredible how much sleep my body has required. But then I'm like, there's a big degree of burn and a larger surface area. Third lesson, you're probably going to need way more dressings and materials than you think because of how much it can weep and need to be changed and everything. I went to the pharmacy that first day. I didn't know how much to get because I'd never had, as it a burn, especially a burn of this size before. And then I kept going back so much so they have this like a rewards club, and it's not my normal pharmacy. The normal pharmacy that I go to, because I walk everywhere nominally. I can't walk right now, literally can hobble a small distance. So I've been driving to a pharmacy that I can park outside and just walk in, whereas the pharmacy that I normally go to, I walk to from my house. Anyway, I digress, but I've gotten to know the people on the counter and the pharmacists. They've been lovely. They've been fabulous. But the lady said to me yesterday, next time you come back, if you don't sign up for our reward club, I will sign you up myself. Like you are a frequent shopper, you might as well be rewarded for this. So, yeah, don't underestimate how much dressings and bits and pieces that you'll need. Um, Another lesson, getting into a comfortable position can be challenging. So, the rest at night can be disturbed significantly, due to things like pain. Like all of these things sound really obvious, but I don't know if I was just naive or whatever, but I've burnt myself before. Like I've touched something in an oven or a stove top or whatever. But that burn has been like a tiny little bit of my finger or the back of my hand. As I said, this burn is larger than the entire palm of my hand, and it's a full second degree, like partial thickness burn. So it's a whole different ball game. Um, so yeah, I've forgotten what number lesson we're up to now. Brain fog is a total thing. And be really clear in terms of asking for help from people, exactly what you need. Like people have been amazing. My daughter does cheerleading, so I've managed to have people pick her up, drop her off to the different things that the kids do. But be clear, like I was just talking to my dad yesterday, and he's like, oh, I just heard about your burn. I'm like, I told you about it last week. And he's like, oh, when you said you spilled a bit of tea, like I was thinking it was a little splash or something. I didn't realize like the severity of this. So I think sometimes, when you're asking for help, not that you need to give people gross and gory details, but what you are conveying and what they are hearing can be totally different things. So you might need to say, like, I am incapacitated, or like I can't do this. Can you help? Because rather than just assuming that when you say, oh yeah, I dropped a cup of tea, that they comprehend the severity of the injury. So all of that to say, oh, and the other thing, the last lesson, how much you'll second guess yourself. Like I'm pushing 40, it's not far away. And I've been drinking hot beverages for quite some time, and I've never managed to drop one on myself. So sometimes, these random things happen, whether it be, when you're drinking a cup of tea, when you're cooking, when you're driving, like something that you've done many, many times before, and you will do many, many times again. Accidents happen, mistakes happen, slips happen. Be really, really kind to yourself. And yeah, so now I'm been drinking hot beverages out of one of those thermoses with the kind of push lid. I remember that straight after I did it, my husband brought me a drink in a sippy cup like I was a toddler, and that was an amusing joke between the two of us. But you will potentially second guess or question, like, how on earth did I do that? How did I manage that? But these things happen, and there's no point wasting time rehashing, a painful past and what did I do wrong and how can I be so stupid and all those sorts of things. Accidents happen. And then notice sometimes how you flip from painful past to fearful future, like, oh my gosh, what if it happens again? And that kind of trauma, because it is a trauma to the body. Like, when you think about having something going forward, like, oh, what if it happens again or anything? If it was a slip or a chance like once in 40 years, not that I've been drinking hot drinks for 40 years, but you know what I mean, it's unlikely to happen again, but it does make you be, all that bit more mindful. So yeah, that's an update on the Sue's verse. And yeah, I've someone asked me this morning how many like episodes do I have pre-recorded. I'm like, now I'm none. I'm back to day, and I do need to get ahead a bit because I'm going away for the first 2 weeks of March. So I do need to get a wriggle on, pull my finger out a bit, and do some batch recording. That being said, if you're listening to this show and you would like to be a guest, I have on my website, if you go to suzanneculberg.com, click on the header that says podcast, there'll be all the information about the show. If you scroll down on that page, there is an application form. So if you have a topic that you would like to talk about, if you've listened to this show and you're like, I'd love to chat about insert thing here, fill that form in, pitch me your idea or a couple of ideas. If you've listened to the show before, often I have guests for 2, 3 episodes. And yeah, you can join my batch recording for the month of March when I'm away. So yeah, let's connect. And just to be full transparency, just because you fill the form in doesn't guarantee that you'll come on the show. Almost everybody I do bring on, because most topics I'm open to, but there is a little bit of a vetting process there, because I've had a couple of people suggest some topics that, yeah, like even me, who's open to most things, would be like, uh, just, I'm sure there are audiences for that, just not aligned for this. So, yeah, most people, most ideas I'm open for, but not everything. So I don't want people to think, oh, anything goes here, because, that's not quite the case. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and also, if you're catching this live next week, on Valentine's Day for the US, or the 15th in Australia, I'm part of a people-pleasing sister mind roundtable. So there is links for that if you go to my link tree. If you follow me on Instagram, click up the top in the bio, there's a link tree. If you follow me on Facebook on my business page, Suzanne Culberg, there's a link for that there. Otherwise, join my email list. Go to suzanneculberg.com, click on newsletter, and I send the details out there. It is going to be fabulous. And even if you can't attend live because time zones or whatever, sign up anyway. You'll get a copy of the replay. It's myself, 5 of my business besties. We're going to be talking about different aspects of people pleasing. And yeah, I'm really, really keen to see how this plays out. Thanks for joining me. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.